musical theatre at a late age, really. But I don't know that. I mean, between the Doctor, I should have had a song. I should have sung the theme tune, I suppose, shouldn't I?
Well, thank you.
Oh dear. There's an actor in the UK who every time he's in a TV series says, "I want to write the theme tune." You know that Dennis Waterman? He's in. I think they did a skit in Little Britain. You know that Tom Baker used to narrate. Have you ever seen that? No, never mind. Okay. Anyway, so I was thinking I could do the same thing. I could just insist to sing every theme tune that of a series I was in. I have to write words to the Doctor Who theme. Actually, I might try that. Anyway, all right. Sorry. Yes.
So a common theme at this convention among all the stars from the 80s is the budgetary concerns of the BBC and sort of shoddy treatment and things like that. But
of Doctor Who?
Of just the actors and stuff. But at least to the naked eye, BBC has come a long way in the last 30 years. We don't know what it's like to be on the other side, but when did it change and how did it change? Is there something that sort of propelled them forward?
Well, I think that it's an interesting question, actually, because in Britain, TV very much came out of theatre, which meant that a lot of the people who first started making and directing television directed it as if it was theatre. So it was often quite static and single shots. In America, your television came out of the movie industry, and so it was always more movie-like, and we were always very jealous of that. And I think it just took us a long time to catch up. And it took a new wave of directors. You know, during my time as Doctor Who, I've mentioned this a lot. You know, it wasn't until my very last story, actually, which Graham Harper directed, that he directed it much more hands-on, like you would, like a film director would do it, and move the camera as a film director would do it. A lot of those early stories were lots of people standing in a line, and then go, "Let's go there," and then we'd all sort of leave as a bunch of people. And I don't blame the directors for that. It was just the way television was done in those days, and I think it's we've just caught up, and we now make our TV programs much more like we would make films. But also, you know, there is a budgetary concern, and there's also a technology thing. You know, in my time, we just didn't have digital technology of any kind. So apart from green screen, which is about it really, and so we were severely limited in what we could do in terms of special effects. And by the time the series came back in 2005, you could do extraordinary things on your laptop. I mean, my son, on a computer at home with various programs he's got, can do pretty amazing effects that I could, you know, we could only dream about back in the 80s. So that makes it look much better. You know, it's a leap up right there. You know, if we could have had those effects back in the 80s, actually, it's pros and cons really, because the fact that we didn't have special effects means that we had to concentrate on the narrative more than you do now. I mean, I get a bit tired sometimes, not of Doctor Who necessarily, but a lot of films I go and see, which just seem to be just one special effects sequence after the other, tacked together with a bit of, you know, dialogue and a bit of plotting. So in a way, I kind of like the old days, because it's, you know, where you make do with what you've got. But there again. Yeah, I think it was just a new wave of directors coming through that didn't come through the theatre system, that came through television or went to film school and were fans of film rather than theatre. And I'm not putting down any theatre directors, because a lot of theatre directors move into television and are brilliant at what they're doing because they direct the actors. Actors, generally speaking, like to be directed. A lot of the only problem with film directors or directors who've come to television through loving film is that quite often they don't notice the acting at all. So I've done several things where I speak with younger directors where you've done a take and you've completely messed up the words, made a complete hash of it. And at the end of the scene, the director goes, "Great, let's move on." And you go, "Excuse me, I said entirely the wrong words." And he goes, "Oh, did you? I didn't notice." Because they're looking at the picture, not at the acting. So everything is, swings and roundabouts. Anyway.
Thank you.
Hello. What was your favorite episode working on Doctor Who? Like, what was your favorite?
My favourite episode, working on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
My favourite story, I think, was Caves of Androzani, which is my last story, because it was written by Robert Holmes, who was a great Doctor Who writer. We had a great cast, Christopher Gable, Cheris Jack. Obviously, it went downhill in the last 30 seconds. So I wouldn't bother, if you watch it, don't bother watching the last 30 seconds. Just watch up until I get back into the TARDIS with Nicola, and then just switch off. Because you really don't want to see what happens next. There are other points of view. Some people think the only part of that story worth watching are the last 30 seconds. But he's talking rubbish. I did also like Earthshock as well, which I thought was a really good story, because I like the Cybermen. And I thought that looked particularly good. It was a studio-bound thing, largely. We did have a bit of external filming, but I've always liked the Cybermen, I don't know why. And Resurrection of the Daleks is what I liked, because I think we had a higher body count than Terminator.
Yes!
And I did get to push a Dalek out of the window. You haven't lived unless you pushed a Dalek out of the window.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my favourites, I think.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.